Very beautiful. Debbie Duval from Campaign Life Coalition is going to just make a few announcements, hoping the rain holds off. If it gets too bad, I won't do my talk, but I'm after Debbie, so we'll see how it goes.
Oh, I'm very quick. I just wanted to say it's wonderful to see everybody here. And I know you're here, and I know the vigil starts tomorrow, 7 to 7. But also, please don't forget Sunday, which is the Life Chain. It's 1 hour from 2 to 3, except for in Carleton Place, it's on Saturday. But it's Sunday, 2 to 3. There are many locations, and we have posters right there. So I just wanted to say thank you, and please support that as well. And while I was standing here, my grandson was born. Gay life.
Wow! Awesome.
That's amazing. Now, if you wanted to back up so you don't get wet, that's okay. I don't know, it's been sprinkling off and on, so it might stop. I'll try to talk fast. I heard an interesting comment the other day. We are made on purpose for a purpose. We are made on purpose for a purpose. We've been praying and fasting faithfully every fall since 2008 in Ottawa with the 40 Days for Life campaign. We don't know how many lives have changed because of our pro-life sacrifices, but by faith, we know that we're doing good. Sometimes we even have people come by and say, keep up the good work, or thanks for being here. But then we also get other types of comments, and then we know it's struck a nerve. We know that by the comments we hear, we know that by the bubble zone, we know that by occasionally someone will forget that we've moved our location, and they'll stand in front of the abortuary and the clinic staff will come out and yell at them, tell them they're breaking the law. This is a spiritual battle, and we are warriors in God's army, the church militant. Last September the 10th, I'm used to saying Campaign Quebec V, Quebec Life Coalition organized an event and a protest in Montreal at Beaujeu Park. The City of Montreal is planning to rename this park after Dr. Henry Morgentaler. Now we know he left his mark on Ottawa too. We have an abortion clinic here too. Henry Morgentaler died 10 years ago. He was a Jewish doctor of Polish origin, and he lived through the Holocaust. And because of that, he decided the best way to combat crime was to abort children. He thought that if only wanted children were born, that the crime level would go down. He dedicated his life to promoting a culture of death after opening his first abortion clinic in Montreal in 1968, just a few blocks from Beaujeu Park. Dr. Henry Morgentaler is responsible for about 80,000 abortions during his career. This is the kind of legacy that's about to be celebrated should the park be renamed in the City of Montreal. On the day of their event, volunteers gathered from across Montreal. They came to distribute flyers to the surrounding 400 residents near the park, alerting them to the name change. Volunteers made posters and blew up 800 pink and blue balloons, symbolizing the 800,000 babies that died. Only 1%, but they filled the park. Neighbors who dropped by were shocked to find out that Beaujeu Park was going to be renamed. Residents had not been asked for any input. So we're going to wait and find out what happens. I'll let you know through my email contacts if they do change the name of the park. You may have heard of Laura Schlesinger. She's an international syndicated talk show host and author, and she used to be broadcast on CFRA until she shared some unacceptable views about homosexuality, and then she was canceled. I'm reading a book called Hidden Grief. It's stories about women who've gone through abortion, and she was asked to do the foreword for the book. And this is what she said, or this is what she wrote. Let me see. Didn't I read some feminist psychologist's report stating that there are no emotional or psychological side effects of abortion? Wait, no, that wasn't it. It was that only women who grieved or suffered post-abortion syndrome became post-abortion syndrome trauma already had emotional abortion angst. Normal, well-adjusted women, it was suggested, just sail through without grief or pain. That's not the message I've heard from women who've called into my radio program over the last quarter century. Women, young and old, have called me about their guilt, hurt, regret, and anger over exercising a reproductive right that was supposed to be liberating. They have mourned over a bunch of cells. They have grieved over a procedure. They have felt shame and they have agonized over their women's rights. And they have felt remorse and regret over a woman's health issue. In other words, millions of women have suffered over their decisions to have abortions. But the politically correct feminist climate in North America does not allow such revelations to go unpunished. Women who dissent from the feminist pro-abortion position are castigated as having a pre-existing mental condition or falling victim to radical religiosity. The sisterhood has no sympathy for the painful truth that abortion is a tragic, traumatic act that leaves lifelong scars on women's lives, some of which are not apparent for quite a while. Stories from women who have had abortions tell us that eliminating a life within the womb diminishes the value of life for all humanity and impacts the life of a woman in ways she cannot anticipate. Women do regret abortions. The women's movement has not only abandoned these women who regard their choice, it disdains and diminishes them. And in so doing, insults them again. That's the end of her quote. And we know there's help. We have Silent No More awareness campaign. We have Rachel's Vineyard. We can't have a supply bag this year. The Scabby at St. Patrick's Church is doing renovations, so we can't leave anything there, and we can't leave anything here on site or it gets stolen. So I've printed up copies of the pregnancy help, but it's also on the website if you wanted to have something in your pocket. So if someone comes along and says, well, what are you doing for us? Where can we get help? There are a lot of agencies and groups that will help. And like I said before, there's a few other freebies here on the table. I'm winding down now. You're probably glad because it's starting to rain harder. All the signs, these signs you can take, they're free. There's business cards with the website address on it. So St. Patrick's Basilica is undergoing repairs. Also, the parking lot in the schoolyard beside the church is no longer available to us. They're keeping the parking lot for students only, and they'll be locking it whenever. I don't know, I haven't been there, so I'm not sure, but I was told there's a lock on the gate. Oh, so that's the end. Thank you for coming out tonight.